Okay, today we are going to work with something called composition of two functions. Okay, in the composition of two functions that we're working here, again we're going to be working with two functions such as f of x equals 3x plus 5, g of x equals 2x minus 3. Okay? Now, if I wrote something like this down, f of g of x, that's a little more complex than what we had yesterday, isn't it? Because yesterday we had just like f plus g of x, or f of x plus g of x, or f of x times g of x. What this actually means is to take the g of x function, which is this 2x minus 3, and replace every x in this function with this function. Okay? So all it amounts to is I'm going to take this function, the 2x minus 3, replace it for this x in this function. So if I did that, if I did f of g of x, which is also called f of g of x, I call it the fog. What it amounts to is I take the g of x function and replace it for every x in the f function. So if I did f of g of x, I would have to take the 2x minus 3, replace it into the 3x plus 5. So if I did that, I'd have 3 parentheses, 2x minus 3 plus 5. You see what I did? Okay? I now need to simplify it. So if I had f of g of x, it would be, if I simplified, the first thing that I would have to do is what property? Distribute. So I'd have to take 3 times 2x, which is 6x, 3 times a negative 3, get a negative 9, and then add the 5. So my f of g of x would be equal to, is there anything to add to the 6x? Okay. Is there anything that I can add to the negative 9? So I'd end up with 6x minus 4. Okay? Am I all right with that? Okay. What if I changed it a little bit and said this function, g of f of x? Okay, what she said? She said take all of this function of f of x, which is the 3x plus the 5, and put it into wherever I see an x in the g function. So I'm just kind of doing the opposite, right? So if I did that, I would have 2 parentheses, 3x plus 5, parentheses, minus 3. I took the f of x function and replaced every x in the g function, right? Okay? So if I simplified that, I would have 6x plus 10 minus 3 by doing the distributive property. which if I simplified it, would be 6x plus 7. So that's not terribly bad.
No. Why are you gonna put something else?
Huh?
Gonna put something else on it?
Sure, we always put something else on it, don't we? Son of a gun. Who stole my eraser?
I think Peyton took it.
She probably did.
Probably hit it. Eraser. God, you find that eraser? You're burning right now.
Okay. So let's do this problem. If I have f of x equals 2x squared and g of x equals 8x squared plus 3x.
For what is it on the... It's just a number of the problem. Oh.
Exactly.
He doesn't have the number.
Yeah. It's problem number 35. So if I wanted to find f of g of x, this means take the g of x function, put it into the f function, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I did that substitution, what would it look like? 2 parentheses. Parentheses closed, right?
Where are you using? You have to use the Spanish word. Oh, word.
Okay, I still have to do this, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now what? I'm going to have to square this, which means I'm going to have to do a long FOIL method, so I really need to write this out longhand. Isn't that what the squared means?
Mm-hmm.
That I take whatever's inside the parentheses and take it times itself.
When it's a power to a power, you add... No. Multiply.
That's only if it is monomial terms.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a binomial term, correct? So that's why I had to write it this way. Okay. So if I started multiplying this out, okay?
Take 8x times 3x.
Okay, 8x squared times 3x.
24x to the third.
Okay, 24x to the third.
3x times 3x. 9x squared.
Should be 24x cubed again.
Mm-hmm.
3x times this 8x squared. Now I have to take 3x times 3x. Any similar terms?
24x cubed and 24x cubed.
So I could add the 24x cubed and the 24x cubed together, right? 48x cubed plus 9x squared.
And you distribute the 2 now.
Okay?
These numbers, what should be then? 132, I think.
You were close. What's 2 times 48?
160.
98.
96.
96. Hey, x is equal to 9x.
And what's 2 times the 9x squared?
Wow, so I see like doing that now.
Okay, we all right with that?
Yep. I'm so tired.
Okay, so that means what happens if I want to use those same 2 functions and I want to find g of f of x. So I got to take the f of x function now and put it into g function wherever I see an x, correct? Which means that I would have, if I did the substitution, 8 parenthesis 2x squared squared.
Why do you put that on
I got to take this, put it in for the x, right?
Yeah, and then...
Because it's a 2x squared, that's going to make this 2x squared squared. Right? And then I add 3, I have another x here, which I have to replace with this, which will be 2x squared. I just replaced the x with 2x squared, right? So now I have a monomial, and it goes back to what we were talking about with power to a power. So the 2 is going to have a new power of 2 on it. The x squared will have a new power of 4, won't it?
Yep.
What would be the next thing that I should probably look at simplifying? Bless you.
Probably the 2 to the
2 to the second. So what's 2 to the second?
4.
So I have 4x to the 4th. Plus, can I do the distributive property on this problem?
Yeah.
What will that give me? 6x squared. So what's the next thing I need to simplify?
Distribute the 8 before it,
Okay, so 8 times 4 is 32 x to the 4th plus 6x squared. Okay?
Yep.
Okay.